Hi, Statesman Nation. I'm Wade Steinlog, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications here at William Penn, and you are inside the Playbook. We're going to get right into it as we're recapping last week's games. Full docket as always, gentlemen. Let's start with the football game, Mid-American Nazarene, coming to town last Saturday, and unfortunately, like the first 2 weeks, William Penn starts off really well, and then it kind of goes south from there. Had a 9-0 lead after a Jordan Nenery touchdown, his first game of the year. Then we kind of stalled out. Hunter Beam made a 27-yarder. Everything looked really good, running to the outside really well. I know you guys were covering soccer, so you really didn't see this, but we're running to the perimeter well, and defense was defensively doing really well. And then, like I said, the wheels kind of fell off there. They got back in the game. The only other score we had was a Colton Horak 33-yard pick six, but just wasn't meant to be, I guess. And now the Statesmen are 0-3.
The defense came up that big play, and then Jordan Nenery first came back after an ACL injury. He looked good. He looks to be a viable option. He looks to be a viable option as a playmaker for the Statesman as a playmaker as the season goes on. So I think it's good seeing him out there. I know Coach Hackner's been pretty high on him since he's been here, and talked about how he's in great shape coming off an ACL injury. And so I'm looking forward to see what he can bring to the team the rest of the season.
Ben Sherman had over 100 yards, first guy to do that this year for William Penn. We ended up outgaining them 315 to 301. But we had 5 turnovers, which anytime you have anywhere close to that number, it's going to be really hard to win. Yet we were still in the game late, but like I said, the second half, most of that 315 came in the first quarter and a half roughly. So it just wasn't much good coming in that second half. So now regroup. We'll talk about the game at Baker this Saturday. But unfortunately, like I said, William Penn 0-3. So
I think there was some positive to take out of that game, just like as there was a couple games before, just not able to finish. But it was definitely an improvement, I thought. Just looking at the box score after the game and kind of just talking to people, and there's some good things to take away. But in the day, just gotta finish.
Yeah, that's what we said last time. Was they needed someone to go over 100 yards rushing or a couple hundred yards passing or whatever, and they finally got up to that. So that's a goal they've met.
Yeah, definitely. So, unfortunately, it's not going to be any easier with Baker. Like I said, on the road, number 13 in the nation. Only loss they have is to Grandview, and they're coming off a 70-6 thumping. The nicest way to put that, thumping of Graceland. So, we'll see where it goes in Baldwin City on Saturday. But if they can play a full 4 quarters, it could definitely make it interesting. So, all right, switching gears. Another team that unfortunately didn't have a great last week, but talk about the women's volleyball team, Jared.
Yeah, tough stretch for the ladies. Of course, it's never easy going down and playing 3 straight road games, especially in this conference, especially if you're heading down south to play Benedictine and Baker. That game against Benedictine, they went down there and they competed really well, I thought. I mean, they were out hit just barely, 236 to 230. They dropped the first set, came back and won the second set. The third set was a potential momentum shifter for them. They were up 24-23, ended up making a couple errors, and I kind of gave them momentum to Benedictine. But the Statesmen responded in the fourth. They took that set 25-22, and unfortunately just couldn't carry that momentum into the fifth. But some good individual performances. Livy Zorn, 20 kills, hitting at a 314 clip.
Yeah, it's huge.
Corinne Lepper, 15 kills. I mean, she continued her hot start to the season with a 294 hit percentage. And then Vika Quez, she's been playing well as of late. She's had a couple games in a row now. We'll get more of that, where she's had double-digit kills. She's 11 kills, being at 336. And Annalise Whitcomb really ran the offense well. I thought she had 52 assists and 7 digs. Just didn't get the job done at the end of the day, and quick turnaround with Baker on Saturday, and they just really kind of struggled all the way around. Got swept in 3 sets. I thought Baker, I watched part of it, and Baker really shared the ball well, and they were really efficient. I mean, they just kind of came together at the right time against the Statesmen. But BB Jaquez had another 10 kills. And really the offense just kind of struggled to get in the rhythm, and the defense was really tested. And when you're down on the road, I mean, it's hard to really respond in that sense. And then pre-state
went down there on Tuesday and they were swept again, and yeah, just didn't happen.
Yeah. No, I think going back to the weekend situation, what is a major positive, I think, when you're playing a Friday, Saturday weekend at home where you don't have to worry about travel, the other team's traveling, moving around, and they have to play within 24 hours, that obviously goes against you when you're on the road. And I think the air was all the way out of the balloon on Friday, and coming back on Saturday probably wasn't a whole lot. I don't know, just kind of left some game left in Atchison, never came over to Baldwin City and took it on the chin.
Yeah,
and then same thing with Peru State, just, I don't know, it's an off night.
Yeah, and the Statesmen, they haven't had an easy schedule at this point. The women's volleyball team has, and they really haven't. They've played a couple big tournaments.
Ranked schools.
Yeah, ranked schools. So, just kind of a tough opening start to the year, but there's a lot of positive to take in. There's still a lot of season left.
Right.
There's still a lot of positive to take going forward.
Yep. All right, women's soccer, we'll talk about women, then we'll talk about men next, but Justin, talk about the women here.
Right, well, midweek they took on St. Ambrose. They came out a little flat-footed, gave up the opening goal, but then they were able to bounce back. Took a lot of energy going forward. Nice ball into Caitlin Fellaini, scored the first goal to tie things up. Then it was towards the end of the game, late corner kick, set piece, and Isabella Prami delivered an absolutely beautiful cross in the middle, bounced around a couple of times. Zoe Ganley finds the back of the net, 2-1 win, which was the first time that they had beaten St. Ambrose in a number of years, and I know everyone was really excited about that. They came out just last night against Culver Stockton, and it seemed like they really controlled the game overall. It wasn't like there were that many balls going over. The defense was scrambling. It wasn't like they weren't really struggling to get the ball forward. They had a little bit of trouble finding some space in the final third, and it seemed like Caitlin Fellaini was getting a little frustrated with herself, just not being able to do what she wanted to do, and just a couple of errors ended up costing 2 goals, and the Statesmen couldn't get one back, and so they ended up dropping their first hard game 2-0.
Yeah. I think going back to the St. Ambrose game, that used to be a really big rivalry back in the old MCC, and I didn't realize it had been since 2005 that we had beaten them, so that was amazing. It's always good to beat the Bees. You guys don't remember the rivalry, but yeah, it's always good to beat the Bees. It's kind of like looking at beating, Grandview always, but Mid-Am or Benedictine now. But yeah, that was a huge win for the ladies. And last night I think Culver Stockton found a couple gifts, and they took advantage of it, and we just couldn't respond and answer back. So
yeah, the team still outshot them
Yeah.
over the course of the game, but there just wasn't anything that you could say was a grade A, something where we should have scored that.
Right.
So a close one, but still a better game, and they're really starting to come together overall as a team and play together.
Yeah.
better.
Well, kind of exactly what we expected with a really young team. When you're starting 9, 10 freshmen or sophomores, that's they're going to get better as the year goes along. I guess there's one or two ways they could either hit some adversity and fall apart, but they're not. They hit some adversity and they're battling through and getting better every time out.
It really does seem like they're getting stronger every time out, and that that camaraderie is really getting there. And
yeah. And they got a lot of good senior leadership as well. We'll talk to a senior in a little bit, Mady Graham, so hear what she has to say about this past week as well. Switch it over. I'll talk about the men's soccer team. A couple big wins there. St. Ambrose, not the program they used to be back in the MCC, but we just laid it to them. 3-0 isn't an amazing, huge score, but 28-2 in shots. It could have been so much more. That was a great win. Kenzie DeVisca had a pair of goals. Everybody just kind of got into it a little bit. Like I said, could have been a much worse, much better on our end, but came away with a nice win in conference play, bouncing back after that tough one against Hannibal. Hopefully, and we'll talk to Coach Highcock about this in a little bit, hopefully the injuries to Jonathan Riley and Akram Hassan are minimal, and they'll be able to get back very soon. Then on Wednesday, just last night, Culver Stockton starting conference play, and that was a really nice victory for the guys. Really just giving up that, conceding a weird penalty kick goal, but 3-1, nice victory there with, again, everybody kind of getting in the mix there. Bernardo Lima's my let's call it pick to click type guy right there, that he just finds a way to get into the mix. Like, he's such a unsung hero, and has 2 great assists last night. Ethan Martinez, freshman, starting to score goals. Exactly why he's here. Kenzie again gets a goal. Amgad Hassan does all the work, dribbling from center field all the way in, midfield all the way in, and then Lucas Koch takes advantage of a bounced ball, and he gets his goal. So, and then Austin Munoz had a nice quiet night. So a couple big wins there, getting ourselves ready for a really tough week with Benedictine and Grandview coming up that we'll talk about later. So.
Yeah. It was good to see Ethan find the back of the net a couple times. He's gotten some really good looks here early in the season. Probably hasn't had quite as much success as finding the back of the net as he would like. I mean, you see him at times get frustrated. He has a nice open shot and gets blocked or goes off the crossbar. It's good to see him get a couple that find the back of the net, because he's doing a really good job, I think, up front, and really getting some good shots off. And it's only a matter of time before they find the back of the net.
When you're the all-time leading scorer at your high school, at a big high school, really prestigious high school down in the Kansas City area, I'm sure he's a little frustrated. He's only got a couple goals early on in his collegiate career, but I'm sure it's gonna be a floodgate type situation. He's gonna get 1, and 1's gonna turn into 5. So
streak, and then we'll get going. And overall, I think the back line deserves some credit too.
Definitely.
They, especially with a couple wins this past week where they didn't really have as much to do. You'd think, clean sheet, and give the other goals due to penalties. You can't really blame it on them per se, but still, they're higher up the pitch. They're controlling play. They're making good passes. They're creating time and space for the midfield, which is allowing runs to go forward, and that's developing the offense. And you want to be able to finish some more of those chances, but the fact you're getting so many shots and so many chances per game is just a testament that the back is trusted and feels secure by the rest of the team.
Yeah, there were several times the past couple games that I saw some defenders definitely playing very high in the midfield. And Donnie Messina's always high up there, because anytime we get in the final third, he's the one throwing it in. Yeah. But I know Joe Minton, who we're going to be talking to in a little bit, he was playing almost a forward mid at times, caught on Saturday. So trying to get those guys in the mix a little bit more, and that again puts more pressure on them. Though you're moving up forward now, if they're going to counter, you got to get your rear end back pretty quick. So, but they're doing an awesome job, and that's really going to be the staple of this Statesman team is the defense, and hopefully the offense will continue to click, and like I said, big wins. So, all right, Justin, let's talk about women's golf just a couple days ago.
They went up north to Lamar's, played a slightly easy course. I'm talking a couple players. They said it was very scoreable, and the first round certainly was. The girl who eventually won the individual out of Grandview, she was 6 under on day 1. Yeah. And that's after 2 rounds, so very impressive from her. But our girls were no slouches either. Brittany Evans set a low for 18 with a 1 under 71, set the new 36 record at a 143. And even on day 1, Bailey Frayne was just 2 shots above her, a total of 145. So those 2 really came in clutch. Day 1, some other good scores as well. Some all around 80 for the 4 of the 5 girls, and the team was sitting first overall after day 1. Then day 2, it got a lot windier. I was talking to Alexis the other day, and she said they moved some of the tee boxes around, especially on the first hole. She said they set one up to make you think you could carry the water, but you really couldn't, especially with the wind. And so everyone's scores across the board shot up, except for Jacqueline. She once again brought her score down progressively from each round. So if she can figure out how to attack a course day 1 and then lower her score from there, she's going to be pretty good for this squad, depending upon who they put out at the tournament. That would be a good option. So the Statesmen ended up finishing 2nd overall. Texas Wesleyan takes home 1st, but a 1st and a 2nd in your first 2 tournaments is a great start, and some really competitive scores. And they looked a lot even better this past tournament than they did the one up in Bellevue. Yeah,
definitely. And as far as Texas Wesleyan goes, that's the number 14 team in the nation. We're 16. Morningside's 21. We beat them. Bellevue and I'm forgetting the other name of the school, doesn't matter, but there were 2 other teams that were receiving votes as well, and we were way ahead of them. So we placed exactly where we probably should have looking at that tournament. So yeah, really good showing for the ladies, especially knowing, again, the quality that we lost from last year and kind of, leaving off or starting where they left off last year. So yeah, really great start.
Evans even lost a few shots in the second round. She went to 81, I believe, to finish with 220. But even a couple of the other girls, we left a few shots at final.
The student community at William Penn made an impression on me. It's a real statement that you can come here and be part of something real.
The last day, and we just
You have the opportunity to participate in activities, to be involved, to make a difference on campus.
Better score. So
The coaches
anyway,
are awesome.
finally,
It's
we'll
easy
talk
to play
about
for
cross country
coaches that care
here.
about you.
Weird
gets more
thing on
effort out of
Thursday,
you
right after
because
we
you
had
appreciate
our
what they
show.
do.
Get an
The
email
real
from,
experiences at Penn
Coach
have helped
Koswich
shape
saying,
who I'm going to be
never
when I
mind, we're not going to
graduate.
Grandview. They canceled
I
it.
work harder because I want to
we're
be
going
part of the
Grinnell instead on
conversation in
Saturday,
class.
so that threw
William
a
Penn
big
gives
wrench
me
in the
the
mix
freedom
for the
to be
team,
who I am now,
and some of the
and the
individuals
tools
weren't able
for
to
who I wanna
compete
be.
because they were planning on going
Diversity
Friday.
runs
had
deep at
something
William
going on
Penn.
Saturday.
Not only in the student
Either way,
body, which is
not
made
many,
up of people from all over the world, but
individuals
also
on
in the
women's
diverse
side
opportunities for
competed, so they
hands-on
didn't have a
learning.
full team. But
The equipment you get to
Mikhail
use is legit.
came out 47th
The experiences
overall.
here
I
will
think
help me get a job when I
140,
graduate.
runners
I am a
total.
leader.
Talia
I am a
Duver and,
trailblazer.
I'm proud to be a
Tina
statesman.
Kokuo,
William Penn
were
University.
kind of in the mix
Make
as
a
well.
statement,
So
be a
they're
statesman.
doing a really good job. The ladies are running in the pack. Would have been nice to see where they would have finished.
The
if they
student
had a
community
team
at William Penn
there.
made an
Then on the
impression on
men's
me.
side,
It's a real
Vernon
statement that
Trozy,
you can come here and
he
be
has
part
a
of
goal
something real.
of breaking some records by the
You
time
have the
he leaves. And
opportunity
as a
to
freshman, he's
participate
already
in activities,
not breaking
to be
records, but
involved,
he's setting
to
the
make a difference on
bar
campus.
pretty high, and he's
The
doing
coaches
pretty well.
are awesome.
Top 20
It's
finish
easy
for
to
him.
play for coaches that care about
Getting
you.
under the 28-minute
It
mark.
gets more effort out
and
of you
Axel,
because you
Vasquez
appreciate what they
was,
do.
also in the top
The real
100,
experiences
so
at
they
Penn
can
have
get
helped
some
shape who
more
I'm going to
individuals
be when I
getting towards
graduate.
the top.
I work
they'll
harder
definitely
because
be
I
a
want
much
to be part of the
improved,
conversation
team,
in
especially
class.
with Vernon.
William
doing
Penn
as
gives
well
me the
as he
freedom
is in the
to
women.
be who I am now and the
With
tools
having
for who I
Michaela
want to be.
being new and the
Diversity
individuals that they
runs
brought
deep at
back,
William
they could
Penn.
Not only in the
Again,
student
as I
body,
said
which
last
is
week,
made
they're
up of
gonna be
people
much
from all over the
improved
world, but also in the diverse
They have a
opportunities for
nice couple
hands-on
weeks
learning.
off now.
The equipment you get
doing
to use
some
is legit.
different type of
The
training.
experiences here will help me get a job when I
back, I think,
graduate.
October 5th
I
is
am a
their
leader.
next meet at
I am a
St. Ambrose,
trailblazer.
so see
I'm
what
proud to
the,
be a statesman.
cross-country team
William
do
Penn
in the next few
University.
weeks, maybe get some
Make a
people
statement,
helping
be a
out.
statesman.
Anything else, guys, from last week?
About it.
Think we beat the horse pretty dead by now. So, all right. When we come back, the guys will leave the stage here, and then we'll set up for women's soccer as Mady Graham and also Coach Jaymee Highcock will join us here. You are inside the playbook.
The student community at William Penn made an impression on me. It's a real statement that
Oh,
you can
now?
come here and be part of something real.
You have the
Terry
opportunity
is
to participate in
gone with the
activities,
ecology
to
club.
be
She's not even,
involved,
like, on
to make a difference on
in
campus.
civilization right
The
now,
coaches
so
are
we'll get
awesome.
back to you this
It's
weekend.
easy to play for coaches that care about you. It gets more effort out of
Yeah.
you because you
Or they'll do
appreciate what they
something
do.
The real experiences at Penn
All
have
right,
helped
Mady,
shape who I'm going
Jaymee,
to be when I graduate.
which order we
I work harder because I want to
Or
be
we're
part
gonna
of the
say.
conversation in class.
William Penn gives me the freedom
I guess
to be who I am now.
Preferential,
and
I'd
the
rather
tools
have you
for
in
who I
that.
want to be.
Okay.
Diversity runs deep at William Penn.
Not only in the
They're
student
already
body,
just
which is
walking.
made up of people from all over the world,
But also in the diverse opportunities for hands-on
Hey, can I get
learning.
your questions too?
The equipment you get to use is legit. The experiences here will help me get a job when I graduate. I am a leader.
I am a trailblazer.
Yeah, but this is.
I'm
your
proud to
family
be a
right there.
statesman.
You're not looking into it. but
William
that's the
Penn
one that makes you
University.
guys upset.
Make a statement, be a
Sounds good.
statesman.
Maddie's like, I don't want to do this.
The student community at William Penn made an impression on me. It's a real statement that you can come here and be part of something real.
Dude, we
You
went
have the
0-3, I
opportunity
mean,
to participate in activities, to be involved, to make a
We went
difference on
0-3.
campus.
They
coaches
know
are
they
awesome.
went 0-3. We
It's
know they
easy
won.
to play for coaches that care about you. It gets
Coming
more
down
effort
here.
out of you because you appreciate what they do.
The real experiences at Penn have helped shape who I'm going to be when I
Remember,
graduate.
Dan, just-
I work harder because I want to be
me
part
on.
of the conversation in class.
William Penn gives me the freedom to be who I am now and the tools for who I want to be.
Diversity runs deep at William Penn.
Not only in the student body, which is made up of people from all
Like,
over
Goody,
the
you're on the
world,
freaking
But also
screen,
in the
dude.
diverse opportunities for hands-on learning. The equipment you get to use is legit. The experiences here will help me get a job when I graduate. I am a leader.
Okay, like I said.
I am a trailblazer.
I'm proud to be a statesman.
William Penn University. Make a statement.
Welcome back,
be a
Statesman Nation.
statesman.
Again, we are joined, Justin Burtis stayed with us here, but we're also
The
joined
student
by Coach
community at William
Jaymee
Penn
Highcock
made
of
an
the women's
impression
soccer
on
team,
me.
as well as
It's a real statement that
senior
you can come
women's
here
soccer
and be part
player
of something real.
Mady Graham out of
We have the
Lehigh, Utah.
opportunity to
So
participate
appreciate
in
you guys coming in
activities,
for a
to
few
be
minutes.
involved, to make a
Both very
difference
tired,
on
especially you,
campus.
Coach, having to drive back
coaches
to Des
are
Moines
awesome.
after
It's
I
easy
don't
to
know
play
when we
for
get done,
coaches
about
that care
10:30
about
last
you.
night. So
It gets
yeah,
more
a
effort
little
out
bit
of
crazy.
because
so.
you appreciate what they do.
Coach, let's talk
real
about last week a
experiences
little
at Penn
bit.
have helped shape
On
who
the
I'm going
women's
to be when
side,
I graduate.
nice win against St.
I work
Ambrose,
harder
like we
because
said.
I want to be part of
A
the
little
conversation
history
in class.
being made there. Hadn't,
William Penn gives me
beaten
the
the
freedom
Bees for
to be who I am
about
now,
a decade and a half,
and the
so that
tools
was
for who I
a
wanna
big
be.
one. And then Culver
Diversity
Stockton,
runs deep
just
at William
a couple
Penn.
balls
Not
bounce
only
the
in
other
the
way,
student
and
body,
maybe
which is
that's
made up of people
a better
from all over
result
the
or a
world,
positive
but also
result
in the
of starting
diverse
hard play.
opportunities for
Yeah,
him.
obviously the St Ambrose game last weekend was very good. We played some very good soccer against a very good St Ambrose team. We could see it coming really from maybe a year ago. We were unlucky at their place to lose in overtime, and then leading into the spring we tied against them, and we felt like pre-season went well this year, and certainly the games before the St Ambrose game that we were ready to beat them, and we thought that the time was coming. Now we didn't obviously want to go into the half losing, but we knew if we just kept playing how we were playing and just improved on that a little bit, that we would come good, and that happened. And I think we fully deserved to win the game in the end. Played some good soccer, obviously had a lot of shots, and it was good. And then obviously leading into yesterday's game, it's a similar scenario really, losing 1-0 at half time after playing well and just giving away a sloppy goal. It was obviously a sloppy goal against St Ambrose, sloppy goal that we conceded last night in the first half. So the team talk was similar, as Mady can touch on in a little bit, but I think we did easily enough to win the game last night, and it was very frustrating that we lose those games that we lost last night, because you can take losing if you're not the better team or if you're playing against a really strong opposition, but I definitely don't think the opposition was great, and I definitely don't think we deserved to lose the game last night, but that's the way soccer works sometimes.
Yeah, soccer's weird. I say that all the time. You could outshoot somebody 30-1, and you can lose 1-0.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that simple. Mady, talk about the team where they're at right now. You guys, I mean, this is your senior year. You're going into, this is the last hurrah and everything, but a lot of new kids out there. After a tough loss like last night, what was the locker room like afterwards?
I mean, obviously, like the result last night is not what we wanted, but I think the locker room kind of mentality was just we need to shift our focus, because Benedictine is a good team. So obviously we need to fix a few things, mistakes, and work and train hard. So Saturday we can hopefully get a win against Benedictine.
Yep. Coach, talk about your upcoming games here. 2 tough games. Benedictine obviously much tougher than Grandview, but Grandview being, it's a rivalry game. It, everybody wants to they pull out all the stops in that game. So upcoming, what's it going to take to come away 2-0 when we talk about this next week?
Yeah, Benedictine, like Mady said there, we can only take it one game at a time. Benedictine are always good. The coach for Benedictine was my PDL coach when I was playing, so I know it really well. And safe to say he's always had very good players come his way, and they've always been very good. He's won an awful lot of games and just got some good players on the field. We need to make sure that we're unique in what we're doing, and we've got some tricks up our sleeve. Because if we just go toe-to-toe for them player for player, it's going to be a very difficult game. But we watched me and the staff on Tuesday evening, and hopefully we can put together a good game plan. And the game on Tuesday evening was Benedictine Grandview, so we've got to get a good look at Grandview as well, leading into the game next week. And that game will definitely be one that is always on the calendar, the Grandview game. But we need to make sure that this game against Benedictine that we get a positive result and a positive performance, because if the performances are good then the results will come. So it's important that we don't go there to Benedictine and in years past and play a certain way. It's important that we go there and play well, so hopefully that can lead us into that game to get a result, and then obviously going forward into the Grandview game that will put us in a good shape there to get results. So yeah, we want a positive result from both the games, so yeah, we're trying to do that.
Definitely.
Do the best we can.
How do you, as a coach or even as a teammate, get Riley's confidence back? I know she probably was not too happy last night with a couple things that happened. So how do you get her back into the frame of mindset that she is good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in it. But she's a very good goalkeeper. She's shown that in years past. The key is, I mean, not just goalkeeper, it's just reacting to situations. It's not so much as she's given the goals away or she's making these errors. It's just making up for them. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make poor decisions. They're going to happen. But I think she knows deep down. She's a strong individual. We're going to be a little bit harder than other players. She knows she should be doing better. And we've got full belief that will happen and we'll start winning big teams.
No, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to like making mistakes like that, we just have like a strong team chemistry, like you were saying earlier. So I think one of the biggest things that helps is like as soon as we mess up, our teammates are right there to pick us up, and so that's a big thing this year for us.
Mady, talk about your role on this team. You've been banged up coming into preseason, already banged up, and you're getting older, so that just happened, right? No, but even though you're coming off the bench in a different role early on here in the season, just talk about where you fit into the puzzle, especially being that you guys have so many young players.
I mean it is a different role from last year and being banged up coming in and just trying to get back. But it's really like cool to see like some of the young players step in and be able to play well, like Iris in the middle. As a freshman, and she's playing phenomenal. It's just what's really cool this year is like the amount of depth we have on the team. You have your starters, but then you also have a bench that can go in and play well, and so it's really cool. And I think that as the season goes on and we play more conference games, so that's what's really going to help us.
Not looking to the future without Mady Graham, but you're obviously trying to build, continue to build on a foundation and build for the future of William Penn soccer. What are you teaching? How are you doing that? How are you teaching these drills? This is the William Penn way. This is how we're going to continue to get better, and the big things, the small things.
I mean, I think it just comes down to attitude. You can get thrown so many different things in life, on the field, off the field. But it's more how you react, like Jaymee was saying earlier. And I think that's something that I try to do on and off the field, and I feel like it's a team. If we can master that, we'll be set.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys so much. I know Justin's got one final thing here, so Mady knows kind of what she's getting herself into.
We got a couple questions that we'd like to ask the student athletes on a rotating basis. Hopefully they're all new year, so coming at you hard and fast. First one we got for you, if you can, which hopefully you should be able to, but describe Coach Jaymee Highcock in one word.
Passionate.
There you go. You won't have to run today. Good job.
That's exactly what Jared did the free show. If one actress could play you in a movie, who would it be?
Oh gosh. AJ Cook.
I have no idea who AJ Cook is. I'm sorry. Wow,
that's just the show I'm watching right now. So.
What show? Maybe I can.
I do know that show.
Okay. All right. That helped me a little bit, but not much.
Favorite musical artist?
Rihanna.
Solid choice. And if you played one sport besides your own, what would it be?
Volleyball.
Position?
Oh, I have no idea.
She just wants to play volleyball. She it looks like fun.
It's just fun. I'm short, so maybe.
Libero. I was going to say
Oskaloosa. It's our community, and we're thankful to be a part of it. Telling its stories, sharing its smiles. We're building community, keeping you informed, giving you a voice, letting you know you're never alone during the victories and the losses, happiness and pain. For tomorrow's a new day, and we'll be there, working for you, ready to tell your story. That's our commitment. It's what we do, now and in the future, because we're always on. We're Oskaloosa News.
she's the one that's the one that works on the computer and helps them like.
The other one.
Oskaloosa.
Yeah.
It's our
I think
community.
I know, but I'm like,
And we're
that one's popping in my head like that's the only one I'm
Nice,
thinking.
nice, nice.
Telling its stories,
I can't watch that show.
sharing its smiles.
It is so disturbing. Like some of the.
We're building community,
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
keeping you informed,
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
giving you
See ya.
a voice, letting you know you're never alone.
That's a lot of
Through the
lies.
victories and the losses, happiness
Beautiful.
and pain.
Yeah, you're not getting the same question.
For tomorrow's a new day,
Hey, I called it. I said
and we'll be there, working for you, ready to
That's
tell
all he
your
says.
story.
Everybody said that lately? It's gotta be
our
more.
community. It's what we do, now and in the future, because we're always on. We're Oskaloosa News.
Welcome back to Inside the Playbook. Again, Coach Highcock's here. Joe Minton now, a senior, I guess. I always want to call you a junior because you really should be a junior. You shouldn't be leaving us so early, but he is. Joe Minton is a senior from Stoke-on-Trent, England. So one of the best hometown names ever, by the way. So every time we hear that, we're like, oh, that's a great name. I want to be from Stoke-on-Trent, England. So, anywho, well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Coach Highcock, let's talk about last week's games from your perspective. Really great win against St. Ambrose. 2 dominant wins, really, that very well could have been much bigger than 3 and 2 goal differences. But talk about St. Ambrose and Cobra Stockton.
Yeah, St. Ambrose was a good win. It was a good performance. We actually tied against them in the spring, and we've always beaten them, but it's always been a bit of a struggle over recent years. So to put together some good soccer and follow the defeats in the spring, it was good. Yeah, I thought we controlled the game from start to finish, and we made it difficult at times and hard work at times. But I knew we were going to win the game, and it was good to get that breathing space of a 2 and a 3 goal advantage. But it was good, and I thought we thoroughly deserved the win. We knew there'd be tougher challenges, and then going into the Culver Stockton game last night, we knew that it was going to be somewhat of a local rivalry. It's a strange dynamic how that's happened, and it's mainly since Joe can allude to the time since he's been here as well. We've just had so many playoff games or games that have meant a lot, and we used to be a little bit similar with regards to how we shaped up as a team, and they used to have a lot of British guys, we used to have a lot of British guys, and it became somewhat of a war. But it was great to see last night that we've just gone past that. I think we're a much more professional organisation now. I think we've got a much more talented team, and I think we've just gone streets ahead of them. And yeah, certainly last night we controlled the game from start to finish. We should have scored more goals. Shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place, but it was not great to go to 2-1. But we quickly got it back to 3-1, and we thoroughly deserved the win and produced some good soccer last night.
Yeah. It's not funny. It was funny to us a little bit, but kind of sad on the St. Ambrose side. You obviously made their coach so mad about how badly you beat them that they were running still a good half hour after the game. So what that means for anything is I'm not sure, but it was just a kind of a commentary that I thought was interesting, that we had a good Saturday, to say the least. So
it was interesting to see, because I've never had them do that in our field, and the head coach and the assistants are good friends of mine.
Yeah.
He messaged me to say I wasn't being disrespectful, but not just him. And I think sometimes coaches or organisations have somewhat of an ego, and Joe can speak to it, and some other players. We always try to be very realistic in what we're doing. But I was speaking to their coaches and their staff before the game, and they have these expectations, and they sort of look down upon William Penn.
Right.
So I always tell our guys that these teams are constantly looking down at us for whatever reasons, and I think that always just fuels our fire to come out a little bit more hungry, because we're realistic. We know our limitations, but we know we're good. But we don't need to go tell people that. So to win and to see them do that almost alluded to the facts that I'm saying now, that they've just got unrealistic expectations, and we just focus on us and our field, what we do on the field, do the talking, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, and you guys don't know this, but way before the Heart and being the old MCC, there was a good rivalry with St. Ambrose and William Penn, and I'm sure with Coach Manal, however he says his last name, that I think he's still thinking this is old MCC where William Penn couldn't compete and everything, and it's totally different, and so that's where I think the realistic expectations are a little bit different and all that. So again, just an interesting thought that I had there. Joe, talk about this past week. You guys are, you obviously took a tough one against Hannibal, but bounced right back and getting back to the William Penn team that we've expected you guys to be.
Yeah, I think Hannibal. We talked about the Hannibal game a lot as a team after, and it was just one of them games. I don't know, like we talked about it. 99 out of 100 times we win. It was just that one day we didn't prepare properly. We didn't maybe come out of the blocks firing. We didn't start how we wanted to start, but whoever was coming after Hannibal was going to get backlash. We went into St. Ambrose. There was no way they were winning that game after we'd lost 4-3 to Hannibal.
Yeah.
There was no way. We went out just commanding performance, and then against Culver Stockton last night, it's the hardest conference in America. You can't take anybody for granted, and that was the mindset. We treat Culver like a Central Methodist, like a Missouri Valley, Benedictine, Grandview, and we go out and we show them what we can do. We're receiving votes, we're noticed nationally, so we just got to start showing people that we can go and we can beat these better teams, and we can convincingly beat the teams that we're meant to beat. Culver Stockton's them sort of teams. So.
Yeah. As I alluded to, senior year, even though you're only a junior eligibility-wise, unless I'm missing something there, so I could be completely wrong. But last year, last year for a lot of guys, Eduardo's also being done early, so you guys, the cupboard will be a little emptier next year, but in a lot of ways because of that, and because it's your last year for you especially, it's this year or bust as far as making it to nationals. Talk about the different expectations you guys have put on yourselves, and not pressure per se. I don't want to say pressure, but maybe you guys do have put pressure and say, we need to step it up. This year has to be different.
Well, we felt a bit kind of we think we got robbed against Baker last game of last season. We got robbed in the national tournament there. So we came in this season. A lot of the guys who returned, we got a chip on our shoulders. We haven't come here to mess around. A lot of the guys who transferred in last year, like sort of the LA boys and the people who are going to be seniors this year, we know how good we were last year. So we got to step it up, and we got to make that national tournament this year. So we came in with a chip on our shoulders. We're not scared of anybody, but we're not, like James says, we haven't got an ego. We're not over our heads or anything. So we just got to keep plucking along. National tournament is the goal, but it's one game at a time. We're not thinking about Missouri Valley last game of the season. We're thinking about, okay, we got Benedictine on Saturday. After Benedictine, it's Grandview. So we're just taking it game by game, getting there slowly, and hopefully we can improve on our record as well last year. Breaking the school record, that's a big thing. You go down in history of the school, but we want to do more. We want to break it again. We want to score more goals, keep more clean sheets. We want to do more than we did last year. So.
Yeah.
And what is that dynamic between some of the people that have come into the team this year and the returners, and how you've kind of merged together and unified into those goals you were talking about?
So we already had quite a really, really strong chemistry. We weren't, maybe technically we aren't better than a lot of sides in the Heart, but as a group of people, we play really well with each other. We all complement each other, and then you had the freshmen coming in, the transfers coming in, and it just there's no animosity between anybody. Everybody gets along. Everybody talks to everybody. So, especially as senior players, we're nurturing them almost like, okay, this is conference. This is different to high school conference. This is different to preseason. This is where everybody focuses. A lot of teams don't worry about preseason. They worry about conference. So we just teaching these players they're getting used to game speed. We're talking to them, telling them what they should do better, what they've done well, encouraging that sort of stuff. So as a dynamic, it hasn't really shifted. Everybody's still close and everybody gets along, so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's flip the page here, talk about this coming week. 2 huge games, Benedictine. Big game for you individually, Coach. That's your alma mater and everything. And there's some other things riding on and we're not going to talk about those other things, but other things riding on that game. But a team that's kind of in a similar situation, William Penn, they're just outside the top 25, and we're right now actually just outside receiving votes area, I would assume. But both teams are going to be battling for a position to make the postseason. nationals and all of that. And then you have Grandview, which was the game of the year last year, the William Penn overall game of the year last year. So hopefully it doesn't come down to such craziness, but it's going to be a great game. Both teams are going to be looking for revenge because we took them down last year. So let's preview those a little bit.
Yeah, obviously Benedictine is a very big game, and it's a game that we need to win to separate ourselves from them. Culver Stockton will lose a fair amount of games this season, it's safe to say. Benedictine is always a historically good soccer program. It's a great environment to play. There's always a lot of fans. The stadium's right in the middle of campus, and it makes the occasion big. And obviously with the events that are going on this weekend, it's going to make it an even bigger occasion. But the bigger the occasion, the bigger the performance. Okay. And we had that against them when we played last year. They were ranked, and it was a big win for us because we had our sights on the record, and I think that was a major hurdle for us to win that game to get that record. But they're there for the taking, and I think we want to learn as the season goes on. And we know from the start of this season, maybe when we played someone like Olivet Nazarene, that was a team there for the taking with a number next to their name that we didn't take, which we do need to take if we want to reach our goals, because our goals are the national tournament. So Benedictine are there for the taking. And there's a number next to their name, there's a receiving votes next to their name that we need to beat and we need to win against. We watched them on Tuesday, we've got a good game plan for them. And like Joe's touching on there, some stuff, if we focus on what we're doing, it's a very easy thing to say as a coach, and I don't generally say this, and I'm sure Joe, but if we can focus on making ourselves better, that will win us the game. It used to be, what is the opposition doing? Okay, let's tailor to that, and then this, and then there's a lot of variables. But if we can be at our very best on Saturday, I have no doubt that we can win the game. So we've got our eyes firmly set on that game. We're going to have a good film report today and a good training session. And then obviously leading into the Grandview game, we watched Benedictine Grandview on Tuesday evening, and it was a very good game. They're the same as well. They are improved from last year at Grandview. I mean, they beat Benedictine 4-1, so they are a good team. But I would say on paper and the players we have and the way we're set up, we're better than both those teams. But just like the handball game showed, or even last night's game showed, you have to turn up on game day. If you turn up on game day and you beat your best, then you put yourself in a good situation. But if we want to achieve our goals, we need to win these two games.
Yeah.
And we can't afford any slip-ups against any teams that are in and around us, or certainly below us in any sort of ranking or standing. So they're crucial to what we do, and it's going to be crucial in our season. It's going to be crucial for us to win these next two games.
And that was something that I was going to ask, hearing you talk about game plan and stuff like that. Not that I want to hear all the secrets and things like that, but soccer, a lot of the times, from a visual perspective, seems to be the same. You pass the ball backwards, forwards, you work it around like that. If you were to
it's that simple.
Yeah, just that simple. If you were to describe to a generic person, especially Americans who are not ingrained in soccer or football, as I'm sure you would rather prefer it called, since early on, how much actually changes between games?
Interesting, that's a good question. Well, first of all, they used to say it's a simple game that we overcomplicate, and I believe that saying for a number of years. I'm doing a lot of my coaching education with UEFA for the Northern Irish FA, and I'll never forget one instructor said to me this year, he goes, forget about that old saying. He goes, it is a complicated game that we make even more complicated. That is becoming more complicated. So it is becoming a lot more scientific, a lot of stats, and it's becoming more complicated. It's positions are breaking off and the game's constantly changing. But seeing the game change from day to day or from game to game, there's so many variables in soccer. It's not tennis or golf where it's a one-man sport. Joe could have the game of his life, but if someone up front's not scoring the goals, then it doesn't really matter that Joe had the game of his life. I'm a big believer that you need 6 or 7 players to play well every game. They need to be playing 7, 8, 9 out of 10, and then if someone is playing maybe a 6 out of 10, that you can carry them through. So soccer with variables and it changing game to game is just constantly individual performances. If those individual performances can get better as the games go on, then I think the team becomes better as the season goes on. But yeah, the game of soccer is complicated. People just think you just run around and you kick a ball and you pass there, but I mean, if you see a lot of soccer at the highest level for a number of years, a lot of teams, you saw Real Madrid won multiple Champions Leagues, or Portugal win the big European Championships, or you see France win the World Cup. If you were to watch soccer as a neutral perspective and you saw the teams that play against them, you would probably think that the other teams were better than them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the effectiveness of how these teams play is what winning them the game. So you need to become, different amongst common, if that makes sense. Okay, so you need to really get your tactics right and realise that you could not be in the game for 85 minutes, but those 5 minutes you are in the game is the 5 minutes you win the game. So yeah, that's a good question, and it's difficult to comprehend soccer, and it is a very complicated sport. There's obviously licenses and stuff like that go behind it, and not every sport has that, so it shows you how advanced it can be. But there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of variables that go into the games. And we were talking about the girls' games earlier. We were the best team on the field, 2 little mistakes, and we lose the game. That doesn't really happen in many other sports. So
Yep.
I hope that answered your question. I might have gone around the block there, but there's a lot you could touch on there.
And then before we have any other questions, Joe,
The
what's
student
your
community at William Penn made an impression on me. It's a real
Oskaloosa.
statement that you can come here
It's
and be
our
part of something
community.
real.
Can't see.
And
We have
we're
the
thankful.
The LA guys, yeah. It's the LA guys, and then you got Stoke-on-Trent over here.
Sharing
Coaches are
smiles.
awesome. It's easy to play for coaches
We're
that care about
building
you.
community,
It gets more effort out of you because
keeping
you
you
appreciate what they
informed,
do.
The real experiences at Penn have helped
Giving
shape who
you
I'm
a
going to be when I
voice.
graduate. I work harder because I
letting
want to
you
be part of
know
the
you're
conversation.
never
guys in the midfield forwards, because you're almost the quarterback, if you will, if it's not Austin talking about where things are, coverage and such.
So, obviously playing in England and growing up, you have to be loud in England. You have to be loud. You have to be communicating constantly. And soccer is about communication. You're telling, if you probably don't hear it up in the press box, but
No.
I
We hear
would,
nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
would say that I'm probably one of the loudest on the pitch, and I'll tell people where to go. It's touching on the soccer to begin. It's tactical. You're telling your players going left and right. That's all it is. So if I've got Eduardo in front of me and there's a player to the left of me, I'll tell him to go left. He stops the pass. So I'm constantly communicating, and that comes from obviously playing in England, being loud, being aggressive, making sure that people know you're there. And a lot of times, teams are intimidated by a loud team, and it kind of helps that you have 3 guys that are 6 foot plus around you.
Yeah, right.
Luis is built like a brick house, so it's 6'4", so it helps me massively that they do their jobs, they defend well, and they take sort of a load off me so I can do what I'm good at, which is communicating and organising the team. So always pointing, doing the sort of telling people where to go, obviously, and even just like speaking to them, giving information on the pitch if they don't do something well. Hey, this is what you could do better next time. But overall, the back 5, back 3, back 4, whatever you want to call it, we all complement each other. It all really works. Everybody has a different strength, and together it really works out. So yeah.
Great. I'm good. I actually was going to say sorry. Normally, unfortunately, these guys have picked up a big load on soccer days, so normally I'm up in the press box, and I don't hear you guys talking, blah, blah, blah. But on Saturday, I was actually able to go down on the pitch and watch it a little bit, and I'm like, crap. Like, soccer is so much different than it looks up top, and like they're really launching the ball and they're flying all over the place, and you guys just look like little ants down there, and it's not near as impressive. And then you actually watch it and like, whoa, this is a totally different game than anybody gives credit to.
It's a lot quicker and a lot more tactical than people think. Like you said, a lot of people kind of watch it on the big screen and they're like, oh, it's not enough. A good example was when England played in the stadium with no fans.
Yeah.
England, they played in the stadium with no fans. The fans got banned, and if you listen to their communication, it was just 90 minutes shouting and screaming at each other constantly. That's a perfect example of the way soccer should be played.
Yeah.
Because it's communicating, trust everybody, that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, one of the Croatian.
It's a lot more tactical. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes, passing patterns, corner routines, that sort of stuff that makes up something. A lot of people don't.
Exactly. Unfortunately, you can't see every thing. You're not up here watching yourself play. You're down here, so people have to communicate. I need the ball, or I'm blah, 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 and all of that. And so I've heard plenty of that from my wife at the high school level, saying you guys need to communicate, and you're not talking, and nobody has any idea what's going on. So I fully understand what you're saying. So anyway, Justin's gonna wrap this one up here.
4 questions you did, Joe, and we'll start with this one. Favorite athlete?
He used to play Stoke, Andy Wilson. And the only reason I like him is because he was a hometown player. He played for Stoke since 5, played for the first team, and he was terrible. He was the worst soccer player I've ever seen. But he just run around and tackle and just put everything into it. He did 127, 90 minutes every game. And he played every game up until he went to the Premier League. So I'd have to say.
Is Stoke going to make that back up?
No.
Realistic expectations.
How the Pagos evolve. So, favorite sport to watch in America that you don't necessarily have back in the UK?
The NFL. That's back home. I'd probably go watch cricket, but here watch the NFL. I'm trying to learn about it, like learn all the rules and stuff like that. It just doesn't process with me sometimes. I'm still learning.
Is it frustrating as a British person to watch a game that constantly stops?
It's not frustrating. It just gets to the third quarter and you sit there and how long is it?
Yeah, right.
2.5 hours, and I'm like,
And they played 20 plays. What are they doing?
Other side question: how hard is it to keep calling it soccer instead of football?
It was actually really, when I first got here, it was so hard. I kept calling it football, and everybody thought, "Oh, you're like a kicker or something."
Yes, that's all I do is kick.
I play soccer, so and I actually call it soccer back home now as well, which is really bad, and my dad hates it.
Yeah.
I call it soccer purely because if I start calling it football and I come out here and I tell everybody I play football, then I get the question.
You get confused again.
You're too small to play football. So.
All right. Yeah. Favorite store to shop at out here?
I don't really know, like, the malls here compared to home are really big, so there's a big variation. Or I'd maybe say like Paxton, somewhere like that. They kind of, like, I don't really know. I don't really have a set anything. I'll just go everywhere sort of thing. I don't really have a set style.
At least you didn't say Walmart. I was like, please don't say Walmart. Don't say Walmart.
Finally, and since you're an international, this could be an interesting question. Where would your dream vacation take you?
Maybe somewhere like Bali, somewhere like that. Yeah.
So emerging vacation.
Yeah, it's kind
destination
of picturesque. Everybody talks it up. Let's go see what it's about, sort of thing. So, but yeah, it looks interesting.
Are you surfing at all?
No,
all right.
I don't do anything like that. I'm in the middle of England. Like, there's no beach around where I am.
Middle of England.
You have a couple ponds. That's it. I have a final question though. It's more of a statement, but I'm going to ask you as a question. I'm going to tell you what my answer would be. What's your spirit animal? Because I know what your spirit animal is, because we talked about it.
You're going to say the Highland.
Yeah, it's a Highland cow.
Yeah. This isn't that.
Yeah.
This is not
no, it is that. It's just the hair. It's covering, covering your eyes. Eventually, you're going to have to pull up to the side so you can see it. There you go. Anyway, sorry, I'm not making fun of you, man. I love it. We've been in several conversations we had in our office. So, anyhow. Well, thank you guys so much. Once again, Coach Highcock, as well as Joe Minton of the men's soccer team. Benedictine on Saturday, and then Grandview, on Tuesday. So hopefully we'll be talking about a couple wins next Thursday when we're back on the show. When we return, we will preview all of next week's games, including those couple games. So you're inside the playbook.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to do it, man. Sorry. I was like, I'll tell you what it is. I don't care what you think it is.
The student community at William Penn made an impression on me. It's a real statement that you can come here and be part of something real.
You have the opportunity to participate in activities, to be involved, to make a difference on campus.
The coaches are awesome. It's easy to play for coaches that care about you. It gets more effort out of you because you appreciate what they do.
The real experiences at Penn have helped shape who I'm going to be when I graduate. I work harder because I want to be part of the conversation in class.
William Penn gives me the freedom to be who I am now and the tools for who I want to be.
Diversity runs deep at William Penn.
Not only in the student body, which is made up of people from all over the world,
but also in the diverse opportunities for hands-on learning. The equipment you get to use is legit. The experiences here will help me get a job when I graduate. I am a leader.
I am a trailblazer.
I'm proud to be a statesman.
William Penn University. Make a statement, be a statesman.
play a full 4 quarters, they can beat pretty much anybody. I mean, they gave Benedictine a heck of a push there 2 weeks ago, and it fell apart. And last week was just didn't go as planned, obviously. And so hopefully again 4 quarters can actually be done and actually execute it all the way across. So.
Yeah, and did you say that there was potentially a change for the roster going this weekend?
Oh yeah, it sounds like there might. Tyler Wood is out. That's all I've seen. He's not on the excuse list. So hopefully Baker's not watching this and we just gave something away. But then again, I'm sure that's on the 2 deep anyhow, so they would know that. But yeah, so it'll be a different look, and I guess we'll just see how it comes about. But switching gears, we have a couple of games at home this weekend with the volleyball team, and you can talk about that, Jared.
Yeah, it might be really good for this team to come home to kind of like some home cooking, get back in the Penn Activity Center and feed off that energy that the home crowd provides. I'm gonna have a tough matchup right off the bat with the Banjo. I mean, no rest for the wicked in this conference, and Evangel's really good. They're 14-3, 2-1 on the Heart this year. They've had some notable wins, particularly early in the season. One of those wins coming against Oklahoma City University. That's on Friday. And then moving on to Moval. Moval has struggled so far this year. 0-16, 0-3 in the Heart. Look for the Statesmen. The Statesmen still have to go out and they still have to play quality sets, quality volleyball. I've talked to a couple volleyball players, and they said the morale's still good. They're still staying positive. They know there's a lot of season left. They had a good practice yesterday, is what I've heard. Just really trying to clean up some stuff on the defensive end. And the hitting in volleyball, you look at that game on last Friday against Benedict, and they hit the ball well. They hit a 290, I think it was 230, and next couple games weren't so hot offensively, but hitting I feel like is a fickle thing in volleyball. Just like a lot of things on offense and across a bunch of sports.
Yeah.
But defense and effort has to be there constantly, I believe. And they can get that cleaned up. Defensive intensity can be there, and they can kind of cut down on some of those mistakes that have kind of burned them. They've been 1 or 2 plays away from perhaps taking a set and perhaps changing the outlook of a game. And just kind of cleaning those things up. Like I said, there's still a lot of positivity going on, and it's something that you're always going to get from Coach Cleaver, Coach team is good culture, good sense of positivity, and just always looking forward. And some home cooking might be good for them, as I mentioned. And then moving on to the middle of the week, they got Graceland on the road. So Graceland's not very far, but 3 games in this immediate area should be refreshing for them.
Yeah.
And I look forward. I like to say they're have a little bit of a couple bounce back performances here, especially coming home and getting time to kind of relax and debrief and having some good practices under the belt moving forward.
Definitely. All right, women's soccer, Justin.
Women's soccer, we just talked to Coach Jaymee Highcock, so we know that they're going down to Benedictine as well as in Grandview and Baker in the next week and a little bit here before we do the next show. Benedictine, top 5 team. They've taken a loss to Hastings, but they beat number 3 in the nation at the time, Southeastern College. They also beat Columbia. They're going to be a very hard game. We'll see how our girls do. If they can play well, a draw could certainly be in the option. Win would be better, but we'll have to see what happens. Grandview lost to Columbia and Benedictine. They tied St. Ambrose. So if they're similar to St. Ambrose, it will be a tough game again, but still very winnable if they played like they did on Saturday and last night, even though they got the loss. And then Baker beat Kansas Wesleyan, but otherwise seems to be about every notable thing for them this season. So again, the first game might be the biggest hurdle, but the other 2, if they can keep some positive energy, should be within reach.
Yeah, definitely. I think Grandview also played Robert Morris, and I think they beat him. So there's a few common opponents there, and you throw it all out the window anyhow when it comes to a rivalry game. That's been a really fun rivalry, especially the last few years. For a while there, Grandview had our number year after year, and it wasn't even close some years. But since then, again, it's kind of this old St. Ambrose, Grandview, MCC mentality that William Penn's nothing, and we've totally flipped the script on that the last handful of years. So, it'll be a fun matchup there against Grandview and Benedictine. Who knows if the right team shows up? It could be interesting. Is Baker next weekend? I was thinking it was next weekend. Okay, so we're going to talk before that, so I won't bring it up. So, but no, I appreciate you talking about it. Yeah. Then on the men's side, wrap up the soccer side. Coach Highcock, as we already talked to. That's his alma mater going down to Benedictine, and I think it's homecoming weekend or something as well. So he said it's going to be all sorts of interesting. They're inducting the class that he was part of that won the conference tournament title and went to nationals and all of that stuff. But so he's going to be there for different reasons. I don't know if he's actually going to be there for those reasons, but obviously trying to win some games. And if he wins on the men's side, he becomes the winningest coach in men's soccer history. So he said no better way to do it than against the alma mater and everything. So yeah, exactly. He'd be really excited about that. So. Benedictine, we beat them last year. They're coming off a big loss to Grandview, so they're licking their wounds a little bit, but in the same respect, they're going to be looking for all sorts of revenge in that men's contest. And then you've got the Grandview game in Des Moines next Tuesday, and once again, rematch of last year's game of the year, which ended up being 4-3 overtime. Just an amazing game. Had the worst play-by-play call ever by me, but Jared loves it for whatever reason. Yeah, right. Anywho, so it's gonna be a great rematch, and again, throw everything out the window. Grandview's much improved this year. They're gonna be looking for that revenge, and I guarantee that's gonna be a battle and a half up there next Tuesday. So, but both of those matches, as Jaymee said, they're basically must-haves if you're gonna make nationals. You've got to pick off a team ahead of you if you want to be one of those 48 teams that makes nationals. Even though they expanded the field, you've got to beat some teams ahead of you. You can't just slide in with wins against Robert Morris and St. Ambrose and Culver Stockton, or whatever, especially with that Hannibal loss. They need to pick up an upset somewhere if it's Benedictine, especially, and then Grandview would be pretty much an even 50-50 game that they gotta take down. So I'll throw it back to you there, Justin, for women's golf.
I did not do research. They are playing at Minton coming up within the next week or so, hosting Mount Mercy.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day on that?
It's Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday. So
Yep.
one-off against just Mount Mercy. We'll see how they stack up against them. But home course, they play all the time. So with the scores they've had coming home, I would expect to see some great scores out of everyone, and most likely a win against Mount Mercy to take their first official win of the year.
Yeah, no, it'd be a good battle too. Mount Mercy has gotten a lot better in golf the last few years, and that's really going to be, I think, unless something's changed with maybe a Baker or Grandview, that's going to be the team that's probably going to give us the best fight for the conference title. So it'd be a good preview of seeing how good they are, and do we need to improve a lot more to make sure that they don't trip us up, or and all of that. So it'll be a good head-to-head battle.
Yeah,
So.
I was talking to Alexis about her performance in the last one the other day when I saw her outside of our office, and she said that they're kind of where our program was about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're starting to move up. So cross-country wise, they're off again, not until early October, St. Ambrose meet. So nothing there at this point. Men's golf, though, does finally start its season. It's going to be an interesting fall for sure, with some individuals not able to play this fall because they just didn't tackle enough hours in the past. So we'll be playing a much different squad, fielding a much different squad this fall than we will in the spring, hopefully. And we'll just see what they throw out there. But really interesting Crossroads of America Invitational next Monday and Tuesday down in the St. Louis area. Really cool event because it's hosted as a fundraiser by the Junior Golf Association at Wentzville Golf Club or whatever. And so we pay the entry fee, but then we don't have to pay for hotels because the teams are actually staying at host families' houses there. So it's going to be actually really kind of cool, and be interested to get Coach Tucker on sometime soon and hear how that tournament went and just the overall atmosphere of that. So, but they finally get the ball rolling with their season, pretty abbreviated schedule, just 4 tournaments in the fall, and then, like I said, they're expecting a lot bigger and better things coming in the spring. So that's when we'll really have to talk to them. So, anyhow, again, hopefully a lot of wins. It's going to be a lot of tough competition, but the Statesmen will be ready for it. And again, the biggest thing with volleyball here on Friday and Saturday. So hopefully we'll pick up a couple victories at the PAC. So
Get out to the PAC, support those ladies. It's such an incredible atmosphere. Get in there, check out the lights, check out the sound system. I mean, it's a premier NAIA facility for volleyball, and also get out to Edmonton, check out women's golf on Monday.
Definitely.
I mean, that's
and they deserve spectators. As good as they are, you would be surprised at, how easily it is to watch a golf meet. I mean, you got to spend out there a long time, but they're totally worth the price of admission, which is actually free. So
and I know Dr. Steinman does a really good job sending his classes out there when he can to go support them, and for anybody who watches, get out there. It's really fun to get out there and watch those ladies compete. And, hopefully it's a really nice day. It makes it that much better. If it's a beautiful day, feel free to check out a golf cart if you can. Go follow some of the girls and go check out something new.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So anyhow, thanks guys so much. We'll get back with you guys on Thursday. We'll talk. We still have more in our office too. So anyway, really excited to keep this ball rolling here. I want to thank Oski News for allowing us to host Inside the Playbook here. Ken Alsup and Ginger Alsup doing an awesome job over here, supporting our Statesman athletics, and really appreciate them. So until next week, go Statesman.